Coffee's back on the menu for me, buddy.
Oh, I thought you had to swear it off.
Well, I talked to a urologist this morning, and I'll tell you the whole tale. Hello, welcome to the Experience Share. It's a Pokemon podcast starring me, Doug Tano.
Doug Trio.
A.k.a.
Jesus.
Tanner Greenring. And have I got a saga for you, Rydosh,
Right on.
a.k.a. Joshua Fjallstead.
Good ones.
Very short leg this week, so we're gonna explore some stuff.
We're
with
just
you
gonna
guys.
level with everyone.
And I think the very first thing I should just sort of come clean on is, now that it's a part of sort of the lore of the show,
For better or for worse.
my stone, the saga has mostly ended now, because as you know,
Do tell.
I had to go in and get, I'll just say it, penis surgery to get
Yeah,
lasers.
we talked about it with the Mission Impossible lasers in your
Yep.
urethra. Yeah.
What they took out the stone. What they left behind was a long surgical tube
They
around
left
which.
it?
Yep,
Yeah,
it's called the
Are
stent.
they supposed to do that?
Yep,
Okay.
it was a little tube. It allowed my sensitive ureter that had a kidney stone lodged in it for 8 months to heal correctly
Okay.
around the stent. And then this morning, I had to go and get the stent taken out.
What
It's
was that like?
largely,
That was
I'll tell
fun?
you, it's largely the same procedure as the kidney stone. A lot of the same tools, same insertion point, all that kind of stuff. Camera goes in, little grabbers on the camera, grab the stent, out it comes. This time you're awake for it and actually watching it
ouch.
happen on a little TV screen next to you.
No, I wouldn't want that. They make you do that? They take perverse pleasure in that?
He offered. He was like, "Do you want to? You're welcome to watch." And I was like, "Sure."
Huh.
And he was narrating for me. He's like, "Here's your bladder. Here's your." It was awful. It was an awful experience.
Yeah, and you look at you. You're on the mic the same day.
And I'm on the mic.
Mere hours
Yeah.
later.
I drove home.
Jesus.
No anesthetic.
Are you a new man now? Are you loose
Yeah,
and
I think,
fancy-free again?
He said I can expect some burning as things heal up just because of the camera. He said,
Camera.
but after that, I think I'm in the clear. And then he said, and then back to our original point, caffeine's back on the menu. He said caffeine is not the issue. Caffeine is dehydrating.
So it's hydration.
Hydration is purely the issue.
Mm-hmm. You're not a big water guy historically.
No, I am. I just drink a ton of coffee.
Okay.
And then,
Me
he
too.
said,
I'm
he
concerned.
said 1 for 1. He said 12 ounces of coffee in, 12 ounces of water in addition to your 64 ounces of water a day. And this is valuable information for all of you.
Yeah, this is like a PSA. I mean,
Because
we
I
should
gotta
get some
say, this has
funding
not
from
been
the,
pleasant.
American Kidney Institute or something.
I know. Anyway, it's a Pokemon podcast. I'm back in fighting shape again. We're playing through Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. We're in the sort of home stretch.
Yeah, they really wrap it up quickly on back in this old game. 8 and
Yep.
8 in the Elite Four when there's essentially no post game. We're basically done.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
we maybe even are going to have to talk about our plans for the next part at the end of this episode.
Yeah, we're
Season
gonna have to figure
8.
some stuff out. Season 8. This is the interstitial. You want to call this a full game, and you're thinking, "Oh, what's the interstitial going to be?" But this is the interstitial.
Yeah, we're done with
You forget that.
season 7 after this.
Yeah. So we're just diving into Sword and Shield.
Can you believe that?
It feels frightening,
It's frightening.
There was a Kirsten Dunst movie 15 years ago. I can't remember what it was called, but there was a scene in which a big planet, I think also Earth, was crashing
Melancholia?
down into Earth.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Oh, definitely. We're it's like, we're going to be out there, susceptible to friend requests and
Oh, I know.
are battling competitively. I don't know about
And
that.
absolutely no excuse either. We've played through every single one of these games. We've played with and against some of the best players, some of the worst players.
Like us.
We're honed at this point,
Yeah,
We should be good at this.
I know.
This is like Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours shit.
Wow.
So now we're going to have to put our fucking money where our mouth is.
Ugh, I don't
But
like
we're not
doing
there
that.
yet.
Yeah, we got a couple more weeks left.
We're not there yet, Joshy.
Where are we?
We are in
Cinnabar. We're
Cinnabar.
departing Cinnabar. We really didn't plan this out. We should have left the cycling road, aka Pokemon Road, and power plant for this episode, probably. If you think about it. We just couldn't help ourselves, one person in particular, who loves going a little ahead.
I don't think it's cheating. First of all, if that's what's being lobbed my way.
It's definitely pushing right up against the mayor cheat label.
Well, I don't regret a thing. Because as I note in level check, all season we've been doing honorable mentions. I think just because like it's really easy to raise extra.
I have some
Pokemon.
I still have some.
But I'm like locked in on this team. I love this little core group we got. We're on 2 weeks straight, 2 gyms straight with no losses too with this core group. Oh,
I don't have any either.
I'm locked in. This is my babies. I'm going to be absolutely devastated if any of these guys die.
I know. I almost want to hear, at this point,
yeah,
with only 1 episode left, I almost want someone to die. Because at this point, they will be not on my team, but I want one of us to have to sing a song. Because these are like our, core players. So it would really have to be heartfelt.
I'm looking over my roster again. Like, I think the only one who could even come close to even dying at this point is Doug Trio.
Yeah, that's the one I would be concerned about. Also, everyone I don't think terribly useful against the Elite Four, though, so it might not even come out. You might not need it.
Well, I'm locked in, baby. He's on the team. He's along for the ride. He's Nicolas Cage, and I'm
Renfield?
Mandalorian from the meme. He's looking at me in the car, and he looks like scared and serious. And then I look at him, and I'm like happy and excited.
Nicolas Cage and Mandalorian, that's a meme, or are you messing up one of those names?
Who's the guy who's Mandalorian?
Isn't it Pedro Pascal?
Yeah, Pedro Pascal. And what's the other guy's name? Nicolas Cage.
When are they?
Meme.
Oh, you mean in the
Meme.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent? Okay, not Okay, so Mandalorian is... You mean Pedro Pascal? Okay.
We got there.
Yeah, I was like, what is... I haven't seen... Because I was about to say, I haven't seen the newest season yet of Mandalorian. I was like, I don't know. Is Nicolas Cage in that show now? Maybe.
Anyway, Jacked 3D, my Doug Trio, is Nicolas Cage, and I'm Pedro Pascal.
Okay, got it.
And we're in this. We're ride or die. But I'm not declaring that on anyone. By the way, how's that going for you?
Well, I couldn't use Mewtwo this whole leg because it was higher level than Giovanni's Pokemon.
Has to stay on your team.
Wait.
At all times. It's your ride or die.
Oh, it has to be on the team. I forgot about that. Okay, well...
Mayor Cheat. Wow, look at this. Mayor Cheat.
We gotta revise
Joshua.
These rules.
You make some mistakes sometimes.
Well, what do you take me to rules court? I mean, I don't know. What's the punishment?
Okay.
I haven't fucking penalized you for any of your loopholes that you've exploited.
That's the judge twirling his gavel and then hitting it. That's the rules court sound drop.
Fine. I mean, my argument would be, I let you keep all of those Pokemon
let me ask
that you
Hey, I'm asking the questions here,
rules
buddy.
thing.
I'm asking the questions here, buddy. Look at me. When did you take him off your team?
Once I got to Pallet Town. So I did do
that's a major infraction.
I did do Route 21 with him.
That's a major infraction. You didn't do any of the gym, though.
Yeah, but that's the only thing in this whole leg. Other than that one route, it's just the gym.
You're right. It's just half the content. You're right. Okay, half punishment. Let's see.
I mean, I feel like it would be... All that I would have been doing is it would have gained maybe another level or 2. It can't die. So the punishment... I mean, I'm not going to suggest my own punishment. I think it's outrageous that I would even get a punishment, considering that the rules court has been so lenient in the past.
Sorry, you're worried that we're not being lenient enough? We gave you half punishment, remember?
Well, what's half
just
punishment?
A minute ago.
Of what?
I'm thinking of it. I'll think of the full punishment first. And here's what the full punishment is. You're not allowed to use Mewtwo in the Elite Four.
No, that's outrageous.
That's the full punishment. Now I'm trying to think, what's the half measure there? Because you can't swap out your party. Right. Maybe you just can't use it against the person it would be most useful against. What,
Bruno? I mean, how do you make that decision? Super effectiveness? Or Agatha, I guess. He's good against multiple. He has super effective moves against the majority of Agatha's team and...
Not satisfied with
Bruno's
this punishment.
team.
I'm going to keep stewing on this. I'm going to keep mulling this over. And by the end of the episode, I will have come up with a sufficient punishment for you. I'll pitch a few as we go. No kills for me this week, I should just note now.
Same, and that obviously became apparent, but we should have said that last episode too. I kind of, for a while, thought we were not going to... Someone was going to die every episode.
Yeah, it felt like that. I don't know if we were just being careless. Like Daniel was talking about. Every now and then you just feel like you let one kind of like...
Yeah.
You let one go by, you know?
Yeah.
It's like that was a stupid mistake. That was a careless mistake.
Yeah, and the only other... I've seen a couple of folks who have done EXP locks, like at Milkman Nick on Twitter.
Excuse me?
Who's been playing along. I think he was doing Fire Red, Leaf Green with an EXP lock, and I forget what his types were. But he definitely had a wipe at one point. Like, I've seen several people who have played not Let's Go, and EXP lock has been a lot more brutal, where they have actually had, like, whole team whiteouts and having to go back to a checkpoint.
Well, we should try it on a non-baby game.
I don't feel that bad that we suffered losses for the vast majority of this season. It's
supposed to be hard.
But the recovery is easier than I think in probably any other game other than maybe I would suggest we do the revised rules of what becomes EXP Lock version 2 for
V2.
Like,
I think we're going to have to
Diamond,
work through
Shining Pearl, because that one is also
I think we're going to have to work
babyish.
through the like catchable issue too, because the repeat routes thing threw everyone off. But now there's a question about like what you're catching. Are you catching the first thing you see, the first thing you encounter? Like,
right, yeah.
Are you just catching the things that are like on your list?
We need to figure that out for these new games. Not relevant to BDSP, but relevant to if anyone wants to play this in Sword and Shield.
Is this a viable lock?
Scarlet Violet.
We've got to make this as close to a viable lock as
we
possible.
need to, so we have to figure that out.
Clauses because they're so bad.
Yeah, we got to figure out the encounters. If you're in a cave, like, does every level count as something you can catch? Because we've vacillated on that with our own Nuzlocke playthroughs in the past too.
I think if this game really is, we're still in Rules Court, by the way. That's what this is. I think if this really is something that could be viable outside of us goofing around with it in this season, it sounds like it's hard. It could be hard. So having the opportunity to catch and get more Pokemon and keeping some of those silly clauses in, like the Good Rod clause, might actually end up being really valuable if you're like tearing through Pokemon. So I don't know. Maybe we're just playing it on the wrong version of the game. But we'll see. And we'll just keep refining it. And it'll be a lot more fun next time we do it.
Maybe we solicit feedback on Twitter or the subreddit or something.
Sure.
From people who've played this.
Please do.
Especially for Gen 8 and 9. That would be the main problem.
Let's talk about my...
It's the end of Rules Court adjourned.
Court adjourned. Let's talk about my definitive ranking of Dorito Doug's team by rideability. It's sort of a one-time segment.
Okay.
I was gonna, that's funny you said gross, because when I originally wrote it, like was thinking out the title, I said mountability.
Oh.
But I was like, Josh is gonna like read that wrong.
We've almost made it through a whole season without going into fur affinity, so...
Well, that ends this week, buddy. Last week, you and Daniel revealed to me that it's possible to ride...
No, Daniel revealed. I didn't know any of this. I've been scooting around on Starmie now, and it's great.
Rapidash. Daniel said I could probably ride Rapidash. We went out and tested it. It worked great.
Mm-hmm.
It's fast. Now I can't not be riding a fast Pokemon. So then I looked through my inventory, my 6. You know what? I think by way of level check, we have to do level check first. Then we'll get to Dorito Doug's definitive ranking of Dorito Doug's team by rideability.
Oh, okay.
Because you're gonna have to know the team first, right?
Right.
So you go first, and then I'll lead in.
Level check.
Yep. Level check.
Mewtwo thing aside, I did have
Ridiculous.
Multiple honorable mentions because multiple Pokemon were at the cap, and I couldn't risk that they would level out. I had Anders the Arcanine, which I didn't really address in the last episode, but I think it was implied that I was allowed to drop some rare candies on that Growlithe and then evolve it into Arcanine before the battles.
Yeah,
but at this point, Arcanine was level 49, I think, or maybe it was 48. Yeah, it was 48 last week. I gained a level, and then I was like, first of all, Arcanine's not going to be useful in this gym battle. I'm just going to box it. Keep the levels down. And then I also had Scar the Mewtwo level 51 boxed. Then I had Gaius Pikachu level 50 also boxed. Or I guess I gained a couple of levels and then I boxed it again because, first of all, not taking that thing into a ground gym, and then it was at the cap. So I boxed Alakazam for all of this until the gym, well, literally until Giovanni's fight, because Adama the Alakazam was level 50 already going in. So I wanted it as my backup, where it was like, I know I can fling that thing out to like one-hit KO, Nido King, and Nido Queen if I want.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had Baystar, Starmie, level 49, Zac, Aerodactyl, level 48. And then I elevated again Starbuck, Nido Queen, level 47, to take on some of the trainers in the gym. And then Chief the Kingler was back, level 44.
Wow.
And then I resurrected the other Roslyn, Gloom, level 38. Who I brought in for Route 21, because I was like, well, maybe I can get this thing up to a level that I can evolve it. But I don't have enough rare candies anymore, so I don't know if I'm going to end up bringing a Vileplume into the Elite Four, but this other Roslyn
what a journey
is back, at least as a backup. But
it's like a Cormac McCarthy book.
Absolutely.
All this loss and heartache.
I know. So I haven't really reconciled that, but the actual team that I presume I will go into the Elite Four with is Alakazam, Starmie, Aerodactyl, Arcanine, Mewtwo, Pikachu. Maybe Gloom, aka Vileplume, will get swapped in somewhere in there. But that's it.
So you have 2 Barfies?
Well, Aerodactyl is a barf.
What's Gloom?
Also barf, yeah.
Okay. It's not... It's allowed.
Was that... I thought there was a Sweetie cap, but there wasn't a barf.
There is
there a
barf
cap?
Sure. No. I was just... at one point, I had 2 Barfies. I had Kangaskhan and Tangela.
Well, also...
And we agreed. We just sort of had
team.
We had a conversation about it, you know, and we thought like, oh, it doesn't really feel right to have 2 Barfies on your team.
I don't recall that.
Okay,
Guess what?
That's fine.
Guess what? I don't recall.
Maybe... I don't know. Maybe it was recorded.
It just says
published.
At least one that you have to have. Well, okay. I mean, that's another rule.
It's fine. Hey, no. We're just 2 gentlemen having a discussion.
We're talking about our own damn playstyle. Like, we should have figured that out. Like, we should say you can only have one. And I would probably argue
to only have one.
I think I would argue the same thing for Sweeties. I don't think you should be able to have more than one of either of them.
Okay.
When we start going into revising the rules.
Especially because they're both things you're choosing. It's too easy for people to be like, my favorite are Kyogre and...
Right. It's too exploitable because we can't always trust that everyone is like role-playing as exceptionally as we do. And they can just be like, my fucking
that's rule 1.
Guy loves Arceus. Well, I get to have that.
Cool.
What does Dorito Doug have?
His core team here, his little group, his babies. Mild Salt, Kangaskhan, level 50, Beast. Nacho, Charizard, level 50. Has the Charizard X and Y. Just has a little menu now next to the move pool where I can just click over and they're like, which one do you want to evolve it into? X or Y?
You could just choose either one whenever you want.
Yeah. Yep.
Huh.
And then it makes the move stronger.
Right.
That's cool. It's a really cool thing to have and do. Jacked 3D, Doug Trio, level 50. Zesty Cheese, Rapidash, level 50. You know, I said this is the core team, but I guess there is room for Rapidash to move out if it wanted to. Just felt like I needed to stay true to the theme and have 2 fire types.
Yeah, I think you should probably have more fire and ice in here.
Salsa Verde, Mew.
Speaking of, you're yelling at me about having 2 Barfies on my team temporarily, by the way.
Level 50. And of course, Cool American Lapras, level 50. So let's talk about these Pokemon's rideability.
Okay.
I'm going to rank them. Tier system.
What's the criteria?
Based on our conversation with Daniel last week, I tried riding all of my Pokemon. And the ones that were the most impressive to mount and ride are going to have a higher tier. And the ones that maybe perhaps didn't even allow me to ride them are going to be lower tiered.
That makes sense.
S tier. S tier is just going to be Nacho, the Charizard.
You just glide around.
You ride him, he flies, and he's as fast as Rapidash.
Yeah.
So he's S tier.
That's fair.
A tier. Rapidash, fast.
Sure.
Not as cool as flying, but there's something kind of cool about like riding the back of a horse.
Well, I think kind of glorious, I would say.
Yeah, and sorry, I keep saying horse. It's a Pegasus. You don't realize that, I think, in the original art, but in this modern 3D art, it clearly has a horn.
You mean a unicorn? A Pegasus has wings.
Sorry, yes, I meant a unicorn. I got
Okay.
my mythical horses mixed up.
Come on.
Pardon me.
Wait
Must
until
have,
you
I
see
must have been out
Galarian
on
Rapidash.
classics that day.
Yeah.
B tier. Lapras.
What does it
Because
do on the land?
nothing. But it replaces the surfboard in the water, which looks great. It's cool. You're just riding around on a Lapras.
I discovered that literally today. I sent you the video. I don't know if you got to see it yet, but I believe that this will now probably by now be up on at least on the subreddit. But bug catcher Josh Bryant at JAJ Bryant on Twitter made a parody song that's genuine, like My Pony.
Yeah.
Parody, and it's just a bunch of clips of his character riding around on Pokemon, and I did not know, and it's great. So if it is up on the subreddit, you should go check it out.
Oh, incredible.
And it's not a eulogy, because he was bragging that nobody had died, but it is a very good song parody. And that's where I found
It's
in the
sort
video
of. It
that
sounds
you
like
can-
it's his definitive ranking of rideable Pokemon.
I think that's probably right. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, and you know what? I want to hear everyone's definitive ranking of their the mountability of their team. Let's just call it what it is.
Mountability.
Everyone tweet hashtag mountable Pokemon
yeah,
and give us your list.
great. Yeah, that'll maybe that will finally get us to trend. Hashtag mountable Pokemon. But yeah, I didn't know you could swap. I'm sure I can get on a Starmie, right? I didn't know you could take the Pokemon out when you're on the surfboard, and that solves that problem.
B tier, Kangaskhan, because
Feels like
it's still rideable.
yeah.
You ride on its shoulder. Eevee goes in the pouch, cute, but it's really slow.
Or at least looks slow. It's probably still pretty fast, but it's so big. I don't know. You could.
No,
tell.
I think it's like slower than walking speed.
Okay.
It was pretty frustrating walking around.
I don't know how to
Looks cool,
prove it
though.
either way.
That's why it's still a B, D tier, which is Mew. Because it doesn't let you ride it. It just flies around next to you. And then F tier would be Doug Trio. Because it's just awful to hold.
What does it even do?
It like blasts through the ground next to you, except the rocks that are the base of Doug Trio are static. And there's
No.
just sort of like a, particle effect, like dust cloud following it.
That's
so
lazy.
they didn't commit to the bit.
That's too bad. Yeah.
So that's F tier. Have I inspired you to do Caprica 6s?
Well, I guess so. I'm not gonna have.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
I mean, a lot of
wondering
mine.
how many of yours are even mountable.
I know that Aerodactyl is.
That must be cool. And he's probably he's probably pretty fast, right?
Aerodactyl is probably like Charizard equivalent, very fast and giant, almost
Yeah.
upsettingly large, I would say.
Yeah.
Speaking of mountability, and
Tough to hold on.
yeah, I would probably say because you can see this with like its big jaw.
Yeah, that looks exactly like
It's
Charizard.
It's distressing.
I mean, mine was A tier, but if you don't like it, you can knock it down to B.
No, I mean I don't think I really even have a lot of options. Can I get on Nidoqueen? Nope. Nidoqueen follows you around very slowly.
Kingler?
No, Kingler
Follows you sideways.
Crab walks sideways.
Wow.
Gloom follows you.
Guess there's just something about mountable Pokemon that has really
That
drawn
you're drawn
Dorito
to.
Doug in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean I like the Starmie animation more than I like Aerodactyl. So I guess in terms of Caprica 6, obviously a Cylon is going to love being in a base star. So
Yeah.
Starmie would be S tier. Aerodactyl is A tier. Golbat also follows you around, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Why can't I get on that? Can I get on Arcanine?
It should pick you up. Golbat should like grab you by the shoulders and carry you around.
Yeah, that would make a ton of sense. How about Arcanine? Let's see that.
They just gotta like tap us in. They're like, oh, we're
Yeah,
almost done with
oh.
the game. We just have to do the like Pokemon mountability animations.
Arcanine is glorious.
And they're like, I don't know. We can't figure a lot of them out. Let's just like, have them follow behind. Tap us in.
Arcanine is definitely
That's great.
A-
That's Ponyta.
Arcanine
Or
is
that's
A tier,
Rapidash.
I would say.
Yeah.
You
Are those
hold
little
on to its
flames coming out
mane.
behind it?
No, it's just like dust from how quickly it
It'd be
moves.
rad if they were little like sparks.
But you also hold on to its mane. So I would say Arcanine's A tier. I would then bump Aerodactyl down to B. And
I think that's fair.
Starmie is S tier still, and then I don't think I have any other options that are viable to me. Because Mewtwo follows you around like Mew.
Probably menacingly.
Very menacingly.
He's a pretty scary guy, I've realized. Joshua, we should go take a break. No tricks this time.
Oh, okay.
Let's take a quick break and then let's come back and actually probably talk about this game.
Okay, fine.
Joshua, bug catchers, welcome back to the show. I feel like we've talked enough about mountable Pokemon. Let's talk about the one and only Root this week.
Yeah. Route 21. Still some struggling swimmers, a triathlete here who seems to be floundering without having actually done the 2/3 of the rest of it.
The biking and the running?
Yeah.
You start with swimming?
I guess in this case, that sounds wrong to me.
I don't know. Maybe you do.
Oh, maybe not, because you would not want to be the most exhausted for swimming, because that's where you can drown the easiest.
I would want to go swim. Keep in mind, I don't know how to swim. I would want to go swim, bike, run.
Humble brag.
That's a humble brag.
Yeah.
I couldn't do a triathlon, not because I'm like completely out of shape and don't do any kind of exercise, but just because I don't know how to swim. I've never learned.
Yeah, I would not do it for a variety of reasons. I can swim, but I don't really even like it, and I'm not very good.
Anyway, we would be like these idiots out here on Route 21.
Yeah,
just
I guess
like
so. Like, where's the Kanto
19
Coast
on the other
Guard?
side or whatever it was, yeah.
Help me.
And then...
How could we not talk about the guy with 6 Magikarp here? Trainer Danger.
Yeah, he kind of threw me off. Kept being Magikarps.
Yeah, and this guy's been around. They've revised some of the trainers' Pokemon in this game, but when they were taking another look at Kanto, everyone was like, you know what? We got to keep that one guy who's got that one fisherman who's got the 6 Magikarp. We're not touching that. That's perfect.
No notes.
And it's just a danger because it's like, I don't know. I mean, I think we know this about both of us.
Like factory farming or something.
I can't leave. Yeah, he's like running a fishery.
He's like a breeder. Yeah.
I can't leave a route if I know there's a trainer there that I can fight. And so it's just a danger where it's like a Venomoth to a flame. I have to fight this guy every single time I've ever played this game, even though I know that every single fucking Magikarp level 42 is just going to use Splash.
Yep.
I think maybe the final one had Tackle, which was sort of funny. He saved the best for last. And they're all giving like, what, 200 experience maybe?
Yeah, completely
just like
complete speed bump. Just slows you down for absolutely no reason.
Especially when this guy with 6 Magikarp, Fisherman Wade is his name. I believe he's also on the same sandbar as the one coach trainer who's out here. So you're gonna step out there. You want the coach trainer. You got to deal with this fucking guy with the 6 Magikarp with running a illegal fishery operation and or some sort of derangement going on with this guy. They're all past their prime. They could already been Gyarados. Gyarados.
Gyarados,
It's not
like
right. An
Let me go.
octopus's situation. It's, Greek. Anyway, right. Coach Trainer Pam has a Machoke, a Jinx, and a Kangaskhan. 44, 44, 45.
Oh yeah, she wasn't any trouble, and this is why I think I'm really like sold on this core team. Is like there was times in this game where these coach trainers were pretty menacing.
Oh, yeah.
Getting stuck in battles where it's like I'm super healing every turn,
Especially because they are often, and like Pam here, but it's she's a hack. They're often at the end of the route, so but
the last couple I haven't had any issue with.
No, I think the last one I had any trouble with was that the one that was in the power plant.
I think I'm just locked in. These are my guys. We're so good. We can take on any challenge. I don't even take out Mew anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that was it for this route. It's like a bunch of struggling swimmers.
Yeah, and then we're back home. We pull up to shore, a shore filled with Tangelas.
Yeah. Actually, the oh no, it was a Staryu, wasn't it? I have a backup Staryu, I guess. There were glooms on that little patch, and I sort of wish I had approached from the Pallet Town side so I could have another backup gloom.
I used a technique that is perfectly legal.
Previously caught a Pokemon here, by the way, so I hope you did not catch another one.
No, I didn't. I previously caught one here. I used a technique that's perfectly legal, where I flew. Once we had the flying machine, I flew to Pallet Town. Once we had surf, I surfed around that little cove, caught a tangela.
It's a little sketchy.
I just took it off the team because we had a gentleman's, quiet civil discussion that wasn't part of rules court. It wasn't contentious at all, where we said maybe it's a little gauche to have 2 barfies on your team at the same time. So I took it off my team in favor of Kangaskhan.
I don't recall that, and court is adjourned, by the way.
It's fine. No. And I was just, I wasn't trying to pull us into rules court. I would not do that twice in one episode. But yeah, so we pull up to shore, go in, say hi to Mom.
Heals us.
And then we go in and say hi to Professor Oak.
So you can just go straight to the lab?
I think so. I think I just went right. I think I went right to the lab and then got the keystone, because you get it from...
Yeah, no, it's all the same. It's just I tried to just go directly to the gym. I flew from here after visiting Mommy. And
it's one city, and you're on the back of a Charizard. You just have to like go up.
Yeah.
It's like one route.
Well, I thought you had to trigger it there, but you have like a short interaction where like Cavill, or Bad Josh in your case, is outside the gym, and they're like, what are we going to do? How do we get this 8th gym? Like, who should we talk to? And then you could talk to that. And then you have to go back to the lab anyway.
That did happen.
So pointless.
So maybe I didn't even come through the lab the first time around. I'm just thinking about go directly to the gym, because then you'll enter a cutscene. And then I purposely guessed wrong both times, and it had no impact. There was no penalty.
No, there often is not. Maybe there should be no penalty for someone who accidentally boxed their companion Pokemon too.
No, there's definitely going to be a penalty for that.
So you go back to the lab, and Oak is there with your rival, and then also his grandson. And he seems to be having...
Here's the penalty.
Oh, okay.
You have to lift the ride or die clause.
That's kind of interesting, because I treated it like it wasn't.
So from now on, he doesn't have to be on your team anymore, but he's killable again.
Okay. That seems pretty fun.
Rules card closed. Case closed.
All right. I'll myself and my client will accept this. I think I'm my client. I'm not really sure. I was representing myself, I suppose.
Yeah, that's allowed in rules court.
Yeah. Some would say it's the standard.
And as you know, I often represent myself, and I'm the judge. So
yeah, occasionally I'm the judge. Have you been watching that show, Jury Duty?
Yeah, it like came on, like I have a Fire TV stick down here, and it like came on by itself, and I just started watching it, and it's very funny.
I finished it last night. It's very good. Bug catchers. The premise is that one guy thinks he's going to actual jury duty, and he doesn't know that every single other person on the jury, including the judge and like the bailiff, etc., are all acting. It's like Truman Show. I was like, oh,
it is like
Truman Show would work.
And then James Marsden plays himself on the show.
He's like the best one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's a lot of that's like too easy to say he's the best one, because he's like, a well-known actor or whatever.
The like transhumanist guy is funny.
Yeah. Todd. Yeah, Todd's really good. The corrupted girl. Anyway, whatever her name is, she's great. They're all really
like Lady Gaga.
They're all really good. But James Marsden is funny because he's playing himself. So there's a whole other like meta layer to it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Court's closed, Joshua. Stop trying to drag us back in.
Okay.
All right, so we get our. So first of all,
well, yeah, there's more to talk about in this lab.
Professor Oak doesn't seem to know his grandson's name. I think he starts to introduce him as Gary.
Yeah, well, I think this whole section was like kind of clever for like, they're not working with that much, where it's something like whatever the exact line is, I think is what he uses. But Oak, when you come into the lab, is trying to introduce his grandson, and he's like, now what was his name again? Which is like the dialogue that you get for your rival in the original Red and Blue.
Yeah.
But then Blue says, no one ever falls for that joke, like Gramps. Which is funny. I thought. I think it was, purposeful. And then he also does, and it's like this whole scene makes it seem like, oh, maybe it's, Oak, maybe we need to shuffle
a little baddie
to the side. But when he's giving you the keystone, he says, now before I give you this next thing, let me recite a poem, like a beautiful poem.
Oh yeah.
Which is very on topic for this playthrough. lots of eulogies,
Sure.
haikus, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. He says, "When two stones are held, when two hearts become as one,
Is that the whole
we
poem?
mega evolve." And that's it. That's like a bad poem. And then the music stops, and then it zooms out the camera, and everyone like doesn't acknowledge it. Kind of funny.
Pretty funny.
They were having a little fun in this scene.
And then he gives you the Megastone.
Yeah.
Or the
Which I
Keystone.
can't get anything out of.
And then he gives you a bunch of Megastones.
Wait a second. Oh, we don't get the one from Mewtwo. What the fuck?
No, you get the
It's just the starters.
You get the Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander evolution keystones, and then you just have now you've unlocked the ability to evolve Pokemon. I don't know where we can get more Megastones. Is it possible?
I do not know.
Or did they just introduce it to just allow me to have?
Yeah, I think you only get Venusaurite, Charizardite, and
Nope.
Blastoisinite.
Mewtwo-nite is in the Mewtwo cave.
Oh, yes. So for our final battle, I can have that.
Oh, and then there's a guy who just sells all the rest. You can get an Aerodactylite too.
Oh, I've always wanted to see Aerodactyl.
I can get a Kangaskhanite.
Ooh.
Inside the Pokemon League entrance, wearing a Slowbro outfit, a stone salesman will sell you the remaining Megastones for 30,000 each. There's also an Alakazite.
Oh, yeah. Those are sweet. Aerodactyl, Alakazam, and Mewtwo, they all have sweet ones. I'm going to buy those.
Cool, rad. So now we have access to that. And I will say it's cool. I don't know. It's less spectacular now. And also, like, the logos are confusing for X and Y, so I always want to do the X one, but I always accidentally click the Y one, and then it turns into the disappointing Charizard. That's just sort of like a rattier Charizard.
Oh, right.
And not the like cool black one, a Breeze Blue Fire.
X, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the one that's just like, here's Charizard, but with like a bigger wings and like a horn or something.
Yeah, looks worse.
Yeah.
That's the one I accidentally keep hitting. Does anyone else have two? Oh yeah, Mewtwo. You'll have to choose between Mewtwo X and Mewtwo Y.
Well, we all know that I like Mewtwo Y.
Of course. I think they're both bad. We're on our way. Giovanni. This is it. Go up to Giovanni's place. It's finally open. It's a conveyor belt maze.
Classic.
And as always, it's frustrating that they just didn't make it easy for me to encounter every trainer because I'm still trying to level up some Pokemon before I go and take.
Yeah, you had to whirl around to get them all.
But I eventually tore through it. It's Giovanni's gym, so it was like, I don't know, ground and poison types mostly.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you get to
your Nidoqueens, your Nidorinos, Sandslashes.
You get to the big man himself, Giovanni. He's looking good. He's got this huge leather chair. A Persian is sitting next to him. He's got a bowl of exotic berries. There's some kind of like scheme on the wall behind him.
Yeah, like a map of Kanto with like scrolling updates, nefarious updates. He
looks great.
And every time they resurrect him, like in Team Rainbow Rocket too, Giovanni just looks better with age. There's just no way. I feel like we vacillated
with the light coming through. God, what a fucking get up he's got here.
It's a hell of a
so
space.
Tasteful.
The loyal Persian sat by his side. I feel like we vacillate on where do we land with the conglomerates.
What do you call
whether we're Devon or Sylph? But like Team Rocket, they've never done better.
You think the association with Team Rocket makes Sylph better?
No, I think that Team Rocket is clearly the best criminal syndicate.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
but
yes,
then
absolutely. Yes, sorry.
Sylph actually, conversely though, is taking a hit this season where we've kind of put it together a little bit more that it was like rife to be corrupted.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it had all these scientists
Chanel,
who were just,
or whoever like
throw them some money,
the Nazi uniforms,
and they'll just, go wherever the fucking money goes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so that I think was another blow to Sylph, and I originally was like a Sylph fan, but I think I'm Devon is really still looking good to me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sure, the product line's not nearly as extensive, but it also doesn't have Nazi scientists. So
here's what Giovanni's bringing to the table: Dugtrio, level 49. Nidoking, level 49. Rhydon, level 50. Nidoqueen, level 49. All of them only know one move. Sorry, most of them only know one move.
Yeah, they essentially...
Earthquake.
Even if they know anything else, all they ever use is Earthquake.
I didn't see anyone use anything but Earthquake, which made it pretty easy for me to develop a pretty quick strategy around this gym, which was pull out Charizard, and then I could just burn everyone to death.
I mean, it's largely the same. Aerodactyl was who I was using. for
Yeah.
most of this gym, although I threw in Starmie. I think I even threw Kingler in a couple of times on the low level grunts.
I
But
put
then
Lapras in for some surfs.
for Starmie, I took out like Rhydon, for example, and Doug Trio because it was just like I know that it's going to be faster and I know that it's going to be a one-hit KO with Surf, and it was.
Yeah. I knew that Lapras had the hit points to withstand a few earthquakes and could get a few pretty devastating surfs in.
Yeah, though Devil's Gambit with the ice.
I know, but
Earthquake.
it's got so many hit points that it
Yeah.
just like it could probably take like 5 or 6 before I needed to swap it out.
Yeah, I mean, again, Giovanni
then, of
leaves
course-
something to be desired with his teams. Everything else is perfect.
What else would he give you alongside the Earth badge but TM41 Earthquake?
Oh yeah, and I taught that to 3 of my Mon.
Yeah, I think I taught it to several too.
It was like, I'm going to take a page out of Giovanni's book and teach that to basically everyone on my team.
At some point this week, I was going through and retraining all my Pokemon on all the TMs that I have now, and was toying with the notion of like a poison type Doug Trio just to throw you off. Because it turns out Doug Trio like can learn a lot of different moves, including a few pretty impressive poison type moves.
Yeah, that's new for this game with this reinvented TM set and some of the changes to their movesets, because Doug Trio's very limited in the original game.
Yeah, it could learn
oh my
both
God.
Sludge Shot and Toxic, and I was like, well, that's enough.
Same thing with Nidoqueen, because Nidoking and Nidoqueen in the original were always like pretty decent stats, but very limited move pools. And what you can do with Nidoqueen now, because that's just always the one I prefer over King,
Tearing down the patriarchy.
actually made me think about maybe bring her. Yeah, you know that I love her, the cards ability with the boyfriends, even though it does nothing in this. But with the TMs you get now, my Nidoqueen has Crunch, Ice Punch, Poison Jab, and Earthquake, and she can learn all of the punches. So I could also have Thunder, Fire. It's interesting. It makes me think I might have her for the Elite Four. I'm thinking about it
because we've gotten a few of those punch TMs now, and I was checking all of my
I think
TMs
we have
this
them
week,
all.
and I think Kangaskhan can also learn all those punches,
Probably.
which is fun.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I was thinking about maybe going back and getting a Primeape, but I realized I just never caught one. But I'm sure I don't think I have Mankeys. Would have seen one.
I think you actually are Mankey. I think I'm Machop. Because I made... It's irrelevant now. Machamp was one of Caprica 6's Barfies, but I never encountered a Machop. So... Or maybe that's why, but I didn't see a Mankey either, so I think it's Machop for me. But in any case, you can't go back and get a Mankey.
I know. There's a few of these Pokemon that seems like they should be staples. Like, I never saw a Poliwag or a Poliwhirl. I never saw a Mankey. I never saw a Machop. Maybe they thought they were too well-tread. It's time to move on.
I think on Route 23, the one that's outside Victory Road, I think that's where Poliwags will be, is what I suspect.
I think I've turned.
Lucky.
I think I've turned away from the good Rod Claws.
Oh,
I think if I've made it to Indigo Plateau by now, I just don't think I really need the good Rod Claws, other than like nepotism. I want my baby on my team, but I don't need him. I got my ride or dies here.
That's kind of where I'm at with this Gloom. That's like, well, it would be nice to like finally finish that storyline. And I, again, like Rosalind is my real queen. The rest of the team is already doing well, and what if this thing dies again?
God, that would be devastating.
I just couldn't really live like that.
Joshua, we should get out of here.
Okay.
We already talked about our teams. We both beat Giovanni. We both got the Earth Badge. Next week, we're mounting our Pokemon, and we're riding up the side of the Indigo Plateau.
And we will be entering the Pokemon League with our old pal, David Sims, coming back.
Yes.
Finally. He wasn't in... Did he not make it in last season? I think this is maybe his first appearance for season 7.
Well, he's welcome to come on and talk about his journey through the entire game.
He's seeing if he can pull it off, and probably not doing EXP walk as a result of that. But we'll find out. We're leaving it as a surprise.
Please do rate and review the show everywhere that you rate and review the show. Please do follow the show everywhere that you follow the show, and do follow us at EXPSharePod on Twitter and Instagram, where I will remind you to please post your hashtag mountable Pokemon list for us and let us know the like power ranking of how mountable your Pokemon are.
Yeah, please do. And turn safe search off too.
Yeah. No, this is in the game. And you know what I mean by mountable, right? Let's not make this weird.
Just riding around.
None of you make this weird.
Yeah, don't make it weird.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I spoke out of turn.
Yeah.
And you should also check out our subreddit, reddit.com/r/bugcatchers, where you could definitely post about those mountable Pokemon. I think that'll be a big hit over there too.
Either, yeah. And entendres are welcome there.
Yeah, for sure.
Just
And
not in public.
And you can also buy some merch at expsharepod.com. And as we alluded to at the top of the show, we will not be doing any other interstitials for this season. We will be taking a week or two off so we can bank some episodes, but our next game will be Sword and Shield. You heard it.
Yeah, we're here. We've arrived. Modern Pokemon.
We're getting dragged in, kicking and screaming. I actually am excited because I never did any of the DLC, and I basically did none of the post game. I just did I did the Elite Four, and then I kind of stopped. I didn't do a lot with that world.
What's it called? Paldea?
No, that's Scarlet and Violet. Galar.
Galar. I have the game. I think I have Shield.
Oh, I don't even know. Oh, that could be... I'm not going to buy it again. If we both have the same one, that's just what it's going to be. I think I potentially do have Sword, though.
I got to the first, meadow or whatever, the new, the big catchable area
the
outside
wild
of
area.
The first town. Yeah. And that's all the further I've ever played. So, the first wild area. I don't even think I made it to the first gym or town.
Yeah, wow. Hard to resist.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm really excited about is when we get to do all the games that we have been prevented from playing, like Legends Arceus in particular.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited about that one. Yeah. Oh, and we're both so excited about Shiny Diamond, Brilliant Pearl.
Yeah, very exciting.
Joshua, let's get out of here. We already said all the stuff. I will say goodbye to you. I'll say goodbye to the bug catchers, and I'll say Alola.
Alola. Smell you later.